If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration. It is January the 17th, 2024, and today the topic is to be gathered or destroyed. Happy Wednesday. Yes, I believe it's Wednesday. So happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope that you guys had a terrific Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yeah, mine was good overall. Things of significance to share is I had an amazing conversation for a future episode of the GSL Talk Show. So that was right on time, as well as confirmation in a lot of ways and things like that, as these conversations tend to be. So that was something cool that happened yesterday. Outside of that, I was chit-chatting with my little brother from another mother, a.k.a. my co-star, a.k.a. my confidant, a.k.a. my financial advisor, Mr. Kelvin Carter. You know, he means a lot to me. I was chit-chatting with him yesterday, you know, as a confidant and financial advisor and a few other things. And then after that, I had to put on my coaching hat, you know, or listening ears and things of that nature, you know, for a friend of mine and some things that she was going through and whatnot. And those were the main things of significance that happened yesterday. One thing I will say about me and my husband, like every now and then we'll have these opportunities to talk to people, to encourage and inspire them. And I know that, you know, that gentleman with Marriage Reignited, I believe that was the name of his platform. He was wanting to talk to us about becoming coaches. And I think we might have a little bit of gifting and knack for it, but we're going to see because, I mean, I don't know how willing my husband is to, you know, do it on the regular, but the times when we do it, it seems like it helps and encourages and inspires the people that we're talking to. So we gonna see what the Lord do, but yeah, that was something that happened yesterday. Let me see what else. You know, I think those were the main significant things. I mean, the Lord did what I took. So after I did all of that, it was like well later on in the day, so I got myself something to eat. And I took a nap, woke back up around 10 something, and that was a word, but I believe it was a word specifically for me. So that was something. Then I was up like late last night. So I was just up playing with this AI photo app thing. Like, I mean, again, I'm sure you guys have been able to see some of my AI photos and whatnot. And it just blows my mind how it creates these photos that look exactly like you. You know what I mean? Now I know that can be a detrimental thing and an issue, right? But, you know, I guess for me, I'm trying to use it for good and things of that nature. And so, you know, I'm thinking about the money that I'm going to save on photo shoots and, and things like that, because I have so many creative ideas where I'm like, I'm going to need a photo shoot for this and a photo shoot for that. And that has saved me tons of funds, I would say. Not to take away from photographers and amazing work that they do and artists and things of that nature, but playing around with the AI thing, I was doing that last night. And then I went back to sleep and things like that. Woke up around, you know, I think around the regular time, but I just kept sleeping. And then next thing I know, I woke up around 6:22. Now, that was significant in a few ways because I feel like the verses were standing out to me that I looked up this morning, as well as I did get a chance to tune into the 21 Days of Prayer and briefly. And so what I did get a chance to listen to, they were talking about growth and whatnot, which for me is confirmation because I feel like I, you know, agree and coincide. My life coincides with the things that the gentleman was talking about this morning, and I'm trying to encourage and inspire other people in that way. But it just seems like not a lot of people like to take accountability, right? And then it's like we don't want to change. I know I've talked about this multiple times and stuff. I think I confirmed yesterday that my quote unquote mantra for this year must be the whole do something new thing because again, I was talking to my homeboy and he was saying that he was on this journey to do something new as well. And, same with me, again, y'all know that in a few days I'll be taking my first counseling session officially and stuff like that so I can do something new. Even if I just do the one, because again, it's something I'm going to have to pay out of the pocket for. So we're going to see what the Lord do. But right now I'm scheduled for the one. And for me, that's still doing something new because again, when I talk to people, it's usually just a friend or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to talk to someone professionally and hopefully get some encouragement, inspiration, and hopefully that can be an encouragement and inspiration to the next person as well. Because, what I'm observing, and y'all can just, again, take this or leave this if you don't feel like it's for you. But basically what I observe throughout my life, right, in a lot of people, is that, again, this accountability thing is an issue. This situation about changing is an issue for people. And these are things that I was actively, like, I'm always looking at myself. So I don't know. I thought that was something that everybody and anybody can do. And I think it is. But, and I'm not saying it's the easiest thing. I'm not trying to sit here and act like that either. But something in me always made me look at myself to say, okay, what can I do better? What can I change? What can I, do about my situation? Things of that nature. And it just seems like my observation is people don't have that. And I'm like, well, Lord, how can I help people get that? You know what I'm saying? Because I can sit here and say it all day long, but it depends on who's listening, who takes the time to listen to the podcast, and also, who takes the time to talk to me, and if they're going to actually receive what I share. So I don't know what else the Lord wants me to do with all of that, but I feel like it has something to do with this conversation as well as just overall, like, be willing to do something new. And if that do something new is trusting God, then by all means, I'm telling you, the more I lean and depend on the Lord, the more at peace I am. And it's still some difficult things, it was so funny. I was talking to Kelvin and he was, and I was like, bro, man, do you think I need to get another job? Because, again, I know right now I have a couple of days or outside of Thursday and Sunday, I'm pretty much available. Now, I'm available to be on call for, the people in my life. I'm available to record, episodes of the GSL talk show and stuff like that, right? So it's good that I have some downtime, right? But at the same time, I'm like, I am technically only working part-time and I could, do something on these other days. And should I? And then my homeboy was like, how many jobs you want to have? And I'm like, and I know I got my online endeavors, you know what I'm saying? I know I got my hustles from home and stuff like that. But, I guess I'm just acknowledging that, again, all of those things depend on whether people want to support them or not, right? Do you want to buy wine? Do you want to buy nail polish? Do you want to buy lip gloss? Do you want to buy my books? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that stuff is determined. Do you want to go and watch my movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that stuff depends on whether somebody wants to. And I think everything I do, honestly, depends on other people to support it in some way. But again, a job is like you go and do the task and, you're going to get whatever funds for doing your task and, things like that. And I know I can get out there and hustle in the streets. The only reason I haven't really got out there and did that is one, because, again, my car, I need to... Y'all want to... Listen, I'm telling y'all all kinds of tea this morning, but whatever. Hopefully this encourages you and inspires you guys, me being transparent, right? So anyway... in regards to my car, we're going to get insurance to take care of it and everything. But they're not going to take care of it until like February the 13th. So that means I'm still going to be driving around without a driver's mirror until that time. You know what I mean? And I know they're going to provide what they're supposed to. We're going to see what the Lord do again. But my understanding is that they're going to provide a rental car because they don't know how long it's going to take for them to fix the thing, so the mirror and stuff. So yeah, so that's one thing. And what else was I going to say? So that's one reason I haven't got out there to, hustle in the streets like I, used to do with Uber Eats. And then also I need to update my insurance information, but I would say it's more so because of the accident and me needing to figure out what's going on with the car and when we can get it fixed and all that. Because I don't want to be, like, driving to the church isn't so bad, but I don't want to be out here getting on the highways and stuff like that and I don't have that mirror, stuff like that. So anyway, so with all of that being said, I mean, obviously I am thinking about more hustles from home. And again, I think I shared with you guys at the end of the juice yesterday, those that listen all the way to the end and listen to my after show stuff on the videos, then I did mention that I'm thinking about things like adding workshops and stuff to the GSL platform, or maybe doing, one of my virtual classes for the kids. And stuff like that. But we're going to see. We're going to see what the Lord do about me and all of that. I just want to make sure I'm contributing to the household. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure I'm doing my part and stuff. And I know there's so many amazing things in the works. Like my book, I know that I've been talking about this book for years now, but my next children's book is still in the process. So whenever that comes out, that's an amazing, new series of, it's the beginning of a new series, basically, of books, and then I got the show in February. That's an amazing opportunity, that prayerfully will secure more down the line and things like that. And so, and then again, I know that I think I was sharing with you guys yesterday that the church is on the brink of doing, adding another service day. So that's going to probably add to my schedule, as well as, the Wednesday night situation. If they want me to come back and do what I was doing with the childcare and Madam Miraculous, that's a whole nother thing too. So at some point I won't have all this availability, but right now that doesn't, I see it in the future, but right now it's like, oh, what should I do, But anyway, with all of that being said, again, I'm just sharing with you guys what happened yesterday and the things that are, I guess, on my heart and mind. But let's get to some juice. Because I think this juice might be important. Not only because of the time that I woke up last night and the words that was said in the verses that I came across then, that again, I told y'all I think is for me, but also when I got ready to, like, I was typing in the information to go live and, my Go Deeper section and all that type of stuff, the title and all that. So I'm typing in all that stuff. I happened to look at the clock and it was 9:11. So I don't know. And then on top of that, with the conversation and this topic today, to be gathered or destroyed, sounds like it's a real serious conversation. So, hey, I hope that you're encouraged and inspired to go deeper and allow the Lord to speak to you through little old me. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's have this conversation. To be gathered or destroyed. So what led me to this morning, I would say, is the Strong's Concordance. So when I plugged in 622 into the Strong's Concordance, it led me to 2 words. Now, don't get me wrong. I almost was going to use the verses that I came across for 622. But when I went to one specifically to the Bible, it confused me. It didn't read like the other one that I had came across. And I know that there's different, not say translations and stuff like that, but I know there's different, versions of the Bible where they explain it in a different way and stuff like that, or they use some different words here and there to give more understanding. But for whatever reason, that first verse was really throwing me off to the point where it made me go deeper about what I had seen already, and that was what I came across in the Strong's Concordance. So it led me back there, and I feel like the Holy Spirit led me back here to this conversation. And the 2 words that I came across with the Strong's Concordance, the Hebrew word for 622, the Hebrew word meant collector, gatherer, swift, and then the Greek word meant to destroy. So yeah, that's what ultimately where I got the title and stuff like that from. I plugged in gather and destroy in openbible.info. And these are the verses that were standing out to me to share. Matthew 12:30, it says, whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. I mean, it's reiterated. I mean, there's other parts of the Bible that say the exact same thing. Obviously, we know that, again, the New Testament, majority of it is the different disciples from their perspective sharing, again, the things, the life, the teachings and whatnot of Christ and things of that nature. So that's why there's these different places that say the same things. But regardless of that, this particular verse here, I feel like it's very clear. It's saying, and this was Jesus' words, if I'm not mistaken. Which y'all can go back and see and make sure, because I might be getting confused with the other verse. But anyway, it says, whoever is not with me is against me. You know, let's stop right there. Like, that is huge. You know what I'm saying? If you are not with the Lord, that means you are against the Lord by default. It doesn't matter what you believe, your religion, X, Y, Z. If you are not with Christ, automatically you are against Christ, according to this verse right here. Then the second part of the verse says, whoever does not gather with me scatters. And we see that people actively do that, right? And seem to have no issue with it, which I'm like, if I wasn't a believer, and I say this, maybe this is my first time for 2024 saying this. I know I've said it multiple times on the Choose, but here it is for 2024. If I was not a believer, I believe that I would be hesitant to be out here spouting my unbelief to the point where I'm making other people stumble. I would just keep my unbelief to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I would do. Like, I think that would be the wise thing to do, rather than take your unbelief, get on your soapboxes, get on your and spread your unbelief and become stumbling blocks in the next person's way, and now their blood is on your hands and things of that nature. People actively do that all day, every day. They actively scatter. But this verse is telling us that if you're not out here gathering, again, by default, you are scattering. So y'all can go deeper with that. Think about all of that and figure out which side you're on. But let me keep on going with some verses that stood out to me. So Matthew 13:30, it says, let both grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time, I will the reapers, and you guys can confirm if I wrote that right, but I will the reapers gather, probably tell the reapers, but anyway, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. Listen. I don't know how y'all feel about these verses. I believe that, again, for God to be telling us these things in advance is a warning. Look, 911. Both can be growing and thriving together at the same time. But ultimately, he is going to separate. There's plenty of verses that talk about the separation and stuff like that. Matter of fact, you guys can go deeper, because there's plenty of verses in the go deeper section that you guys can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds, that talks about the end time separation as well as a little bit more. So go deeper by all means, because I felt led to read them, but there was so many verses where I just was like, you know what, that might be, not say above y'all's. It depends on where y'all are spiritually. If you are in a place where you can receive what I'm saying and you are willing to go and do the work and read these verses, then I believe they will bless you. If you're not there yet, then it's going to go over your head whether I read it to you or not. So, that's the reason why I decided not to read it. But anyway, so here's another verse. Mark 13:27. It says, and then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. So, I know people go back and forth about the rapture, is it going to be a pre-trib rapture or mid-trib rapture or, all this type of stuff. And I'm just going to base it on what happened in the Bible, right? I've seen throughout the Bible multiple times where God saved his people, whether it was just, again, Noah and his family, or whether it was, Lot and his family, stuff like that. Whether it was only a couple of people or not, he took his people out of situations before it really, really went down. So I believe in pre-trib. I guess with that being said, but hey, again, take all that with a grain of salt. It doesn't really matter. Live your life, whether, accordingly, whether it's going to be pre-trib or not. But anyway, this just ultimately reminded me of that, though. That verse pretty much just reminded me of that, again, there's going to be a time where he's going to gather the elect from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. Here's another verse, John 15:6. It says, if anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers. And the branches are gathered, thrown into the fire and burned. Listen, look, when y'all read the Bible, it talks about this type of thing. Right here is talking about branches and whatnot, but there's specific verses in the Bible that talks about that will be the people, the unbelievers, that will be thrown into the fire alongside of Satan, who they've decided to worship by default. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know how that makes y'all feel this morning. All I know is, again, when I was getting ready to type this thing up, it said 9/11. Last night I got a word that, something about speaking or whatever the case is. And then the Lord gave me this morning. This is the juice. I hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired to go deeper, because there's plenty of things to go deeper about. All I say this morning, the juice is, figure out which side are you on. Are you going to be gathered or are you going to be destroyed? Now, the Bible verse of today is Deuteronomy 7:9. It says, know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us, because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.